So I'm gonna start this off talking about something that I heard listening to another YouTuber. One of the things that they said about specializations was don't pick the defensive specialty, even if you're a defensive player. Their whole mentality was because if you pick defensive, looking at the different goals that they have, you'll never get to the end. And I agree with them if they come from the perspective of someone who is not going to be focused in the main areas that the defense is going to be successful in, steals and blocks. So, but I put together some thoughts and some ideas to play the right way. And that's my whole thing. Um, if you follow some of the directions that I give you, then what you're going to find is it's going to be a little bit easier for you to find. And just remember, these goals weren't made to get done in a week. I think that's probably the biggest misconception. Everybody want to get as much as they can, have their build maxed out all in a matter of a few hours. If that's the case, then what are we doing for the rest of the year? I'm going to be speaking out for those who only make one build. Last year, I made one build. The year before that, I played with one build, but I tried to figure out my game style on the previous version. So I'm only making one build. So my build is for an all-around player, which means he's decent in most areas, exceptional in shooting, and pretty good at defense. The other part is stick skills, but that's on me. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with a couple things that were on my mind to help you get the defensive goals taken care of. Number one, you got to look at your attributes. What I did is initially you get into my career and you're not going to have all the attributes that you think you should have. You won't, especially if you're starting off like how I was, which was somewhere around 80. I didn't have the defensive stats to back it up. The only thing that I had was I knew I would be capped to get 85 steal and 85 block eventually, but I was at a 60. So playing into my career, what I did is while I'm getting my 20 games, while I'm trying to build VC as much as I can in doing like 7-minute quarters, I relied on my GOAT skills. GOAT skills is the thing that's going to help you hedge getting some of these steals, these blocks, and these defenses. So I'm looking further on down the line when it comes to what the goals are going to be for the program, for the specialty. And the more I think about it, and the more I play with my character, the better he's gotten. So you get the right GOAT skills, which for me, the GOAT skills that I used was I had an offensive one and I had a defensive GOAT skill. One was going to be green light. What I like about green light is because I'm a shooter, I hit 5 greens. That can be layup, it can be dunk, it can be a jump shot, it can be whatever. I hit 5 of those, I'm automatically going to get a boost in my steal and my block. So I normally get that one pretty easy. You only get to use that once. However, the other one that I eventually chose was access denied, which for my career style of gameplay is perfect because everybody's a shooter out there. So very few teams are going to go in there to dunk, and if I clog the paint, I'm going to make them shoot over me. So that's what I'll do. I'll let guys hit open shots because for the access denied, they just can't score in the paint. And when they do that, I get a big bump to my steal and my blocks. What's dope about that is that actually goes up to a Hall of Fame level. So I currently just reached that today, and that Hall of Fame, that thing reoccurs. So I can activate that several times a game, depending on where I am. As long as they don't go to the hole and dunk and reset the clock, 6 stops or 6 shots outside the paint that are made, I get another takeover boost. So that's how I piecemeal it together and try to make everything make sense. Another thing, like be dedicated to building up your character in certain areas. If you're going to play D, play D. This is going to come in handy later on as you learn mechanics. I think it's understated. You can't just put things on there and when they throw the ball, you hit, X and then boom, you got to steal. Or you hit Y, that's a block. It don't work like that. You got to put yourself in position. And I kind of go like D-Wade. When I see the clock is winding down, I run over, I'll try to punch it from the side or I help out on layups that way. Another way in my career you can actually set it up and time it is when they run plays, they always throw the ball to the corner and then they throw it to the hash and they try to get it back to the point guard. That's where I come in. So when I had a low steal, I didn't have the animations to get there and steal the ball. But they go through the same sequence. So you just kind of bait them a little bit. And when you see that man get ready to pass that ball, boom, you shoot the gap and you go on the other way for a bucket. So I use those to get my 3. That's going to be important because later on in the goals, you're going to have where you got to get like 250 steals, 250 blocks, or you got to have games where you're getting a combination of steals and blocks and you have to have 3. And those go on for a series of games. So again, the better I get on the sticks, the easier this is going to be. And I ain't out here to prove nothing. I'm trying to get my stats up. I'll prove something when I go and get out into the park. But as of right now, I'm just going to hop in there on semi-pro because I need the computer to be a little aggressive. Right now, I'm on pro. They're being conservative. They're trying to look for the right shot, which slows me down. But in semi-pro, they're still kind of stupid. So they'll make the pass, even though they shouldn't make the pass, and you can go the other way. So that's how I plan on attacking that one. The last thing that I'll probably leave you with is don't forget your boosts. You got to make sure you got your boosts on for steals and blocks. Again, these things are going to help you out big time. They're already giving you a handful. So just go in, all in, get your boosts up whenever you get a chance. I don't have enough VC right now to do that, hovering around 12,000. But my thing is to get my guy up to 99. Once I get there, I don't really use much VC. I buy stuff here and there. Hopefully I hit a jackpot like I did a couple times. I hit a 50,000 last year. Then I just take the game as it goes. Have fun, build it up, and start stacking my chips. And the last tip that I'll give you to kind of round it out, and this is kind of what makes my character amplify, my takeover. I chose my stats off based on the takeover that I wanted, which was glue. And I wanted that because last year Vice was my joint. I got Vice. I was a shooter. People underestimated me. I was low-key a lock. I was basically 3 and D, but I let stick skills handle everything else. All my badges was on silver, and that's what I recommend. Make sure you get that defensive presence, because that's one that hits me with my steal, my perimeter D, and my block. All gets a bump in stats. I think a +5 and all of that. So I'm already sitting at a 90 on all of those if I can get takeover. So during the game, between my boost, my takeover, and those GOAT skills, I'm pretty much running all game with an enhanced ability to get more steals and more blocks. So tell me what you think. I don't think we should run from it, because I got a feeling when Christmas hit and the new cats come in the game, I'm going to frustrate them off the court. Go to random rec. I ain't going to get the ball a whole lot. You start hitting a couple shots, people don't even want to give you the ball. So I'm not going to sit there and make my man a track athlete running up and down the court. I'm going to play D, and I'm going to try to shut down the best shooter, ball handler the other team has, and I'm starting it now by just getting familiar with the game. So that's my last tip for you. Don't have no shame in your game. Drop that joint down to rookie, learn the mechanics, and go to your mock court. And if you can't beat lower level NBA players on there, they got 70 perimeter D, or they got basic ball handler 85, and you can't stop them from running to the rim, you need to look out, because people got souped up builds and you're not going to be able to stand it. So start on rookie. When you start blowing them out, beating them consistently and by more than 10 points, go ahead and bump your difficulty up. Go to semi-pro and then go to pro. I literally go to Hall of Fame and shoot all my shots on Hall of Fame. I made a pro-am team. I go into the pro-am and I shoot with that latency so that when I get online, it's not unfamiliar with me, and I found my stroke. So again, if you need to shoot and you're trying to make some baskets, find your jump shot. Those are the tips that I have for you. If you returning, if you come into this, or coming back to the game after taking some time off, or if you're just a little rusty. So, hey man, think of me as Mr. Play the Right Way. I know the 2K elements, but at the same time, it's really basketball and strategy. So, looking for me, you're looking to link up, Chris Nexus 83. You can find me on the Xbox. Let's get some games in.